You know, there's a million golf gadgets out there, but one of the most effective ones costs maybe $1. This little towel. Ed just gave me a lesson helping me with some shanks I was fighting after working on some swing changes with my driver. And this little thing's amazing, just helping you work on missing something as your swing thought.
Absolutely. And different people have done different things over the years. VJ Singh used to just put his water bottle out there.
Yeah.
I recommend, if you're not a pro, put something out there that doesn't hurt if you hit it.
Yeah.
But the towel's perfect. And like I said, some of the simplest things are some of the best training aids.
Absolutely. It's dirt cheap.
Yep.
A little shank on that.
I see that.
So it's a little too close to it, maybe?
Probably. Do it again.
That's like my kryptonite on the course when I start doing that. So. And then I start to back away from it.
I know, that's a quick fix.
Yep.
I don't mind you doing that when you're playing.
Yeah.
Because you obviously can't hit that shot playing.
Yep.
But when you're practicing, then and you can see that divot still left. You see that's what's happening. It's too flat, and then you're too steep on the way down.
Okay, so I need to work more on that.
Yeah. And you just need to hit balls with that towel there.
Yep. Yeah.
Hit the ball and not the towel. That in itself helps most people the most.
Mm-hmm. Yep, like magic.
Good, still a little farther forward. Good, right there.
It's amazing when I look at myself on camera, I realize I'm like this. But when I sit up to it, I don't feel like I am.
I know.
It's like amazing how that works.
That should have felt better.
Yeah, those are great.
So just having that towel out there, for most of you that are prone to hit it on the hosel every once in a while, is just great, great practice. Good.
Those are awesome.
Yeah.
It's funny, when I start shanking on the golf course, that's like, out of all the errors that I make, that's the one that just drives me crazy, because I'll hit a good drive and I'm 100 yards away or 60 or something, and then if I lose it right from a shank, it's demoralizing.
Well, I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, these are great. I mean, that was a little thin, but I'd be happy with that one all day.
And our subconscious is amazing, because what happens is once you hit that hosel once, because it's so emotional,
Yeah.
I mean, and it upsets you so much that it imprints on your brain the picture of that shot.
Yep.
And your subconscious works on pictures. So if you visualize hitting a shank, it doesn't know that you don't want to do it. It just knows that's what you're
I
telling
literally
it to
have
do.
felt this so many times where it's like I'll be set up just fine, and then it's like in the backswing, my brain's like, oh, you're gonna shank, you're gonna shank. It's just I can't. And what I found lately is I just have to like back away from it and
take a deep breath,
restart my whole thing and just like
Yeah,
just visualize positive things, like it's not gonna happen.
You know, it's an interesting comment that, everybody, I was too. I was always fascinated. Tiger Woods could get the top of his backswing and then start down and then stop. And he'd always act like something in the crowd distracted him. But see, I bet you it wasn't anything in the crowd. I bet he was so good that he had a bad thought coming down, like, hey, I'm going to shank this, or I'm going to duck hook it, and he could stop. And he would always blame the crowd.
Maybe as a cover-up.
Yes, as a cover-up.
I believe that.
I believe, he was so strong mentally that he could do that. That's what I would tell
I think so too. It's amazing to me, the difference. Like even the other day I was out playing, and it was one of those situations where we weren't really sure who was going first, and I felt like I was kind of rushing because they were kind of waiting for me to go, and there's maybe someone else. And it's just my brain wasn't clear, and I didn't hit a good shot on like a 7-wood, which I always hit those good. Like that's like my go-to safe shot, is like if I need a 7-wood just to hit it 180 or something, I could do that all day. And it's amazing what happens mentally when you're just not like oriented correctly, where you've got like your swing thoughts are all clear and you know what you're doing, and you know it's like it's time for you to hit, you're not interrupting anyone else. It's amazing what happens when just something in that puzzle's not quite right.
Yeah, I agree. And but yeah, I always thought that was interesting with Tiger, and that's what I always thought was happening. He was so good he could stop there.
Yeah.
But I think he knew something. He either had a bad thought and he was scared to hit it, or he literally knew swing technique wise that it wasn't going to be a good shot.
Yeah.
And he could stop. And like I said, he always blamed somebody snapping a picture in the crowd or something. But there's so many people there. They're snapping a picture on every shot he takes. So
it's probably that's not.
That's what I mean. So it's probably not that at all. It had to be something else. That's what I would say.
I believe it. That's interesting.
I was taught as a young tournament player that, especially if your group was out of position in a big tournament, a USGA event or something, and you were on the clock, I'm not sure what the exact language is now, but back when I was playing, if you were the second or third or fourth person to play, you just had 30 seconds to hit your shot. You had 45, I believe, if you were on the tee first. But you were, and they would start the clock. But then there was always a line in there without distraction. Okay.
Yep.
And so I was always taught if I was nervous and I wasn't ready to hit it and I was on the clock, that I was just supposed to act like I had a gnat flying in my eye or in my face.
Some bug got you or something.
Yes, and I could step away then and they'd start the clock over. And so when you see those guys on TV doing that and wiping the sweat out of their eyes, or they act like somebody in the crowd distracted them.
Kind of resets the timer.
It does. I think they're just doing that to give themselves some more time to play.
Yeah.
Rather than then
That's-
they're actually distracted.
Yeah.
And so that's part of the fascinating thing about tournament golf, in my opinion, is watching other people and watching them, how they play and stuff like that.
That's interesting.
So, isn't that interesting?
Yeah, that is. Yeah, these have been a lot better since you put that towel there.
Yeah. Yeah, we hadn't hit one on the hosel.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, it's just interesting how just setting up obstacles like this is just so, I mean, it's amazing. There's like so many great golf gadgets out there, and some of them are pretty expensive, but it's like, this is what, $1?
Right.
It's,
Or you borrow it from the cart kid.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah.
Isn't that good?
These are awesome. Yeah.
And that's, I've mentioned it briefly before. There's different kinds of swing thoughts. This one's called an external swing thought, is when there's something that you're avoiding. It's not part of your body. It's this towel on the ground.
Or going for a blade of grass or a dimple or something. Yeah.
Yes. And so an internal would be thinking about what your wrists are doing, what
my
your
arms rotating, or maybe even how
or
your shoulders.
thinking under this, and they can all work. But as a player, you got to figure out what works best for you. What I found with most players is that the internal ones are important to think about when you're trying to improve your technique on the driving range.
Yep.
But the external ones probably work better on the golf course under pressure when you're playing.
Yeah, let your body kind of self-organize and do the, if you've hit 100 perfect draws with your driver and then something goes, your body's just not quite right because you're thinking about this, it's like you want to just go back to how you felt practicing and just work on some cue that's not really internal.
Exactly.
So that makes sense.
And so I use external cues a lot, as you know, whether it's the alignment stick and slanted in the ground
Yeah.
or whatever. We've mentioned in other videos, a lot of people say, man, I hit it great when you're there, and then I go on my own and I go play and I don't hit it great anymore. But
Yeah.
I'm really good at getting them to focus on that external cue alone.
Mm-hmm. And their body takes care of the rest. Yeah.
It does. But when they get out on their own, then they hit one bad shot and then they start thinking about what their arms are doing or what their weight transfer is doing, and they're thinking about 3 or 4 things instead of one thing, and it goes downhill quick.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind.
Yeah.
So that's why that towel works, is because I can just say, hit the ball, not the towel.
I was going to say, I guess it's cheating to take a towel with you and put it when you're playing, but
well, if it's on a tee, you can put it really close to the tee marker.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, that would be one way to simulate that.
I played at Dalhousie this weekend in a tournament, and their tee markers, they have one tee marker, and then they have that square box that they put broken tees in and stuff. In the old days in Scotland, that would have had sand in it. That's actually how you made a tee, was with wet sand.
Yeah.
That's why it was called the tee box.
Oh, I've never thought about that.
Yeah, because there was a box of sand that you teed off with.
That's funny.
Instead of a wooden tee. The wooden tee wasn't invented until the early 1900s. So all before that, they used sand.
Just a clump of sand.
They had water and sand, and you'd make it to where it'd stick. And
stick your ball right on
there.
it. Yeah, that's funny.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, I've never heard that one before.
Oh yeah, and so they have those boxes from a tradition point of view. And man, most of them boxes were on the right-hand side of the tee, so me being right-handed, the box, man, the line was pointed right down the target line, so I just tee off 2 or 3 inches
just use
inside it. Then I could get square with my shoulders. I could visualize my path real easy. And I hit it great.
That's awesome.
I hit every drive off of those when those tee markers were pointed where I wanted to go. Perfect, absolutely perfect.
That's awesome.
So can you cheat a little? Yeah, you can cheat a little if you pay attention to it.
Yeah.
I see a lot. You can't see it out here very good after it's rained, but the mower makes stripes on the tee boxes, and if you watch on television, if that stripe's pointing down the middle of the fairway on the tee box on tour, all them players tee their ball up right on that stripe. And they use it for alignment.
Well, I remember at Dalhousie, we played together, I think it was like number 16 or something. There was the tee box was cut, and then there was a lawnmower path right through. And I didn't even think about it, but I just happened to subconsciously set up there, and you could see that path straight down the fairway, and you commented on how that's a good thing to look for.
Absolutely. And so little things like that can really make a big difference and help you set up correctly and give you confidence that you're set up correctly. I mean, so pretty cool stuff.
Absolutely.
Really.
Well, and like we made a video on the parallax error a few months ago that's really done great, and that's one of the things that I still, after you showed me that, it still blows my mind. I remember the last lesson we did, we had 2 parallel sticks, and I was sitting here thinking, there's no way these are parallel. And you go back, sure they are parallel, but your mind just can't comprehend that. And the same thing happens when you're aiming down here and you've got a point of reference, and anything you can have that is aimed correctly just really can help you out.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.